Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zahir Khatri, founder of Learning Roots, the world's leaders in creative Islamic education publishing for children and suppliers to leading Islamic schools, homes and national libraries in over 30 countries worldwide. Thank you for joining us for this third video in our series Read and Rise. In the previous video, you learnt how to make your child's Quran learning journey full of fun so they associate happy memories with Quran for life, making them much more likely to recite the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as adults and benefit from the timeless peace, blessings and guidance that the Quran provides. In the previous video, we also gifted you an exhilarating Arabic words themed treasure hunt for you to play with your child around the home, and we're sure they must have had a lot of fun with it. We have another fantastic gift for you coming up in this video, but more on that later. Now, while making learning fun is one of the key steps to getting the lessons to stick in your child's mind, it's certainly not the only piece of the puzzle. That's why in this video you'll discover the key practices your teaching approach must include either as a teacher or as a parent in order to ensure lessons remain in the long-term memory of your child. Let's get started. Practice number 1, the mastery approach. In order to make lessons firm so they stay in your child's mind, there's lots of different approaches that can be used. The approach that we found to be most effective in our years of experience is based on the principle of mastery. The mastery principle is something that needs to permeate everything that you do, including the selection of a qa'idah book. Here's an example of how mastery plays out. Some qa'idas have pages and pages of practice after they introduce a rule. Others have fewer pages of practice. At first sight, you might think that having more practice pages is better. After all, the more practice, the better you get, and that's certainly true. The question, however, is once a child has mastered a rule and is competent in it, is giving them more practice pages to read simply because they are in the book a good thing? What effect do these long practice pages have on child morale? Would it not be better to find the optimal level of practice repetitions required for mastery and just stick to that, rather than adding more practice pages for the sake of it? That's a really important consideration when choosing a qa'idah for your child. In the incredible tool that we'll be revealing at the end of this video series, we've carefully tested, measured and presented the optimal level of practice mastery for each lesson and made it easily available for you in a done-for-you layout. This will ensure that your child is making firm progress while not getting bored doing endless practice along the way. So the mastery principle is about perfecting every single page and every single line, even if it means that the lines are repeated so often that your child memorizes the words. That's actually a great thing, because memorization is both a visual and auditory memory ingrained together that will serve as a reference for your child in their future reading. There's also another thing that will serve your child extremely well. Practice 2. Revision at home. Learning to read the Quran is achieved through a partnership between the child, the teacher and the parent. The parent support comes in mainly in the form of ensuring that revision is completed at home between lessons. But when we asked different madrasa teachers what their number one pain was, it was that revision at home is often lacking in the vast majority of cases, and that leads to a lack of progress in the child's learning. And perhaps as a madrasa teacher you can relate to that feeling. Without revision between lessons, children often forget the work that they're taught in class and have not had the opportunity to cement their understanding. So the work is deferred to the next madrasa class, and so the delay in learning is almost doubled or tripled. But when we asked parents about this issue of revising at home, they told us that they have two major reasons why they find it difficult to revise at home. The first is because they're not competent in terms of pronunciation of the words, and they may be teaching their child incorrectly. And secondly, they just simply don't have the time, along with all the other things they have to do with looking after their children at home, especially in larger families. In the incredible tool that we'll be revealing at the end of this video series, we've solved this problem for you as both a teacher and a parent. We can't wait to share it with you because it's proven to be a solution that simply works in eliminating a major problem that many children and madrasas face. But nonetheless, the point being made here is that revision is a key element in the learning process, and this is one of the main reasons why lessons do not remain firm in the child's mind. There's also a more subtle reason that's being repeated several times in a lesson and can have a major effect in how well content is remembered. Practice 3. Show, don't tell. One of the advanced techniques that we have discovered, which is far more effective for things to stay in your child's long-term memory, is that when they make a mistake, we don't correct them immediately. Rather, we prefer for a child to discover for themselves where their mistake has come from and to rectify it for themselves as well. So when they make a mistake, either in recognizing a letter or applying a sound to it, we break the problem down by asking them to first identify the letter correctly. And once they do that, we can then move on to looking at the vowel sound that they're applying to it and make sure that they get that right too. So we trace backwards to ensure that they get things right from the start through an active engagement of the mind. This makes future mistakes far less likely. Now, in the incredible resource that we'll be releasing at the end of this video series, we will reveal a way in which you can make this process a lot faster, and we'll also be talking about how we can do so in detail to ensure that these mistakes are self-corrected in an active learning process. But the point being made here is that the way in which children are corrected has a big impact on how firm the information remains in their mind. Because if they're making mistakes and they're told the answer without having to work for it, the mind is not actively engaged and therefore the information does not stick. But if the mind has to search for the information and go through some effort, then it's likely to remember the information that it's discovered for itself. Now, before you go, we'd like to offer you a gift that will help your child in mastering the Quran reading. Click the link below and you'll be shown a selection of words appropriate to your child's level. Ask your child to read the word before the timer runs out and use it to improve their recognition and reading speed all in one go. And once the child has had a go, please take some time to comment below with your feedback. We'd really love to hear from you. That brings us to a close for this third video, and sadly it's almost over. But don't worry, we really have saved the best till last. In the fourth and final video in this series, we'll be unveiling something that will accelerate your students' progress, as you've learnt in the first video, fills the learning journey with fun, as you've learnt in the second video, and makes lessons stick in the long-term memory of your child, as you've just learnt in this video. We can't wait until you see it. It immerses your child in an experience that is designed to inspire the heart, mind and soul, and to enable them to become fluent and frequent reciters of the Noble Quran for life. I can tell you that with my decade-long experience in publishing, I've simply seen nothing like this. It's been years in the making, it's made using cutting-edge technology, and it's been worked on by experts in pedagogy, Islamic scholarship, design, all culminating in a wonderful resource that we'll be sharing with you in the next video. And if you know a family member or friend that loves surprises, then please share this Read and Rise video series with them too. We look forward to seeing you in the final video, and with that all being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.